Minsu had been alone on Kepler 442b for 3 years. 3 very long years. The days seemed to blend into each other like the dust storms that sometimes lasted for weeks without stopping. The mining colony was not a beautiful place. It was made of steel and concrete, and it sat in the middle of a dry, rocky desert. Every day, the machines hummed their loud songs while they pulled minerals from the ground. Every night, the temperature dropped so low that even the metal buildings seemed to shrink and crack. The other workers at the colony kept to themselves mostly. They were here for money, not friendship. The company paid well for dangerous work in dangerous places. Minsu had come to Kepler 442b because he needed to forget something that had happened on Earth. He did not like to think about what it was. Instead, he worked. He fixed machines. He checked the power systems. He walked the perimeter to make sure everything was safe. The work was hard, but the work was honest. And the work helped him forget. Today was a routine maintenance day. Minsu put on his heavy armor suit and stepped out into the thin atmosphere. The suit was blue with red stripes. It had thick joints that moved slowly and carefully. The helmet had a large visor that showed him the temperature and air quality and all the other information he needed to stay alive on this strange world. He did not really need all this information most days, but it made him feel safer somehow. He was walking along the northern edge of the colony, checking the exterior sensors, when something unusual appeared on his suit's computer screen. A blinking red dot, a life sign, not human, intelligent. Definitely alive. Minsu stopped walking. He looked at the readings 3 times. They did not change. His heart began to beat faster. In 3 years, he had not seen any alien life form. The scientists had said Kepler 442b had no intelligent life. The planet was too hostile. Nothing advanced enough to think and communicate could survive here. Yet something was out there. Something was alive and moving. Minsu slowly walked toward the signal. His suit was heavy, so his steps were careful and slow. The ground under his feet was hard and red and covered with rocks. The sky above was pale and thin and empty. Nothing grew here. Nothing flew here. Everything was just rocks and dust and the sound of the mining machinery far behind him. Then he saw her. She was lying on the ground about 200 meters from the colony. Even at this distance, Minsu could see that she was not like anything on Earth. Her body was long and curved. Her scales shimmered like water in the pale sunlight, shifting between blue and green and silver. She had 4 legs. She had wings that stretched out to both sides. Her tail was long and thin and should have been moving, but it was not. It lay behind her like a dead rope. Minsu walked closer. The closer he got, the more details he could see. Her scales were smooth and clean. Her wings had tears in them. Her eyes were large and dark like black mirrors. As he got even closer, those eyes turned toward him and locked onto his face. The creature was watching him. The creature was afraid. Minsu raised his hand slowly to show he was not dangerous. He had seen programs about how to act around wild animals. You moved slowly. You made no sudden sounds. You showed respect. "Hello," he said quietly through his suit's speaker. "I am here to help." The creature made a sound that was like a mix between a growl and a whisper. Then, to Minsu's shock, the creature spoke. The words came through Minsu's radio in perfect standard English, the language that all Earth colonies used. "I can't move my tail," the creature said. Her voice sounded tired and hurt. "I can't move it. Nothing works. I don't understand what happened." Minsu knelt down carefully beside the creature. He could see now that her tail was bent at a wrong angle. The scales at the base were torn and bleeding something that looked like thick, clear water instead of red blood. The tail did not respond when the creature tried to move it. "What is your name?" Minsu asked. "K-Ra," the creature said. "I am a scout from Drakesh. My ship, My ship crashed. 3 days ago. It came down very fast. There was fire and noise and pain. When I tried to move, my tail would not obey. I have been lying here waiting to die." "You are not going to die," Min-Su said, and he meant it. He did not know why he meant it so much, but he did. This was a living thing that was hurt and alone and afraid. That was all that mattered. "Why do you care?" Kara asked. "I am not your kind. I am not from your world. Your military will kill me when they find me." "My name is Min-Su," the human said, "and I am going to help you. That is what humans do. We help each other. We help other things too, when we can." Min-Su used the tools on his suit to scan Kara's injuries. The scanner showed him bones and muscles and nerves. It was strange how different they were from human bones and muscles, but they were not so different that he could not understand them. The tail was broken but not completely destroyed. With treatment, with time, with care, healing was possible. "I need to get you back to the colony," Min-Su said. "There is medicine there. There is equipment. I can help you heal." "Your people will imprison me," Kara said. "Or they will study me. Or they will kill me because I am a threat." Min-Su looked at the injured alien. He looked at her large, dark eyes. He looked at the pain that she was trying so hard to hide. He thought about his own life. He thought about how he had come to this empty world to escape his own pain. He thought about how sometimes people needed help, and all the rules in the world did not matter compared to that simple fact. "I will not let them harm you," Min-Su said. "I promise." He did not know if he could keep that promise, but he meant every word of it. Min-Su reached down and carefully helped Kara stand up. She was light, lighter than he expected. Her legs shook under her weight. Her tail dragged along the ground behind her like something dead. But she was standing. She was alive. And she was not alone anymore. "Come," Min-Su said. "It is not far. I will carry you if you get tired." And so, with the pale sun above them and the empty sky all around them, the human and the alien from another world began the long walk back toward the colony. Behind them, across the dust and the rocks, Kara's broken ship sat silent and still. It had brought her to this place. It had crashed, and it had broken her, and it had left her alone. But it had also brought her to Min-Su, and that had changed everything. The walk back to the colony was much slower than Min-Su had expected. What should have taken 40 minutes took almost 3 hours. Kara was injured badly. Her right back leg was working, but it was working wrong. Her tail did not move at all. She had to move sideways a little bit with each step, and this made her gait strange and difficult to watch. She was trying very hard not to cry out in pain, but Min-Su could see the suffering in her dark eyes. After an hour of walking, Min-Su stopped. "Get on my back," he said. "I am too heavy," Kara replied. "No, you are not. My suit has strong motors. It was made to carry heavy loads. Come on." Kara carefully climbed onto Min-Su's back. Her claws, which were sharp and long, dug carefully into his suit to hold on. She was light, just as Min-Su had thought. His suit's power system barely registered the extra weight. The motor seemed almost happy to have something to do besides carry an empty suit across empty ground. As they walked, Kara spoke. She told Min-Su about her world. Drakesh was a planet in a different star system. It was warm and wet and full of life. The Dragonoids, as her kind was called, were intelligent beings who had developed technology and space travel. But they were not peaceful creatures. On Drakesh, strength was everything. Warriors were respected. The weak were left behind. When a Dragonoid could not fight anymore, could not work anymore, that Dragonoid was abandoned, left to die. "It is not cruel," Kara said, and Min-Su could hear the pain in her voice. "It is practical. Resources are limited. The world is hard. Only the strong survive. This is how it has always been." "That sounds lonely," Min-Su said. "It is the way," Kara replied. I was a scout because I was good at being alone. I was sent to find new worlds, new resources. I was successful because I did not need anyone. I only needed myself. As they walked, the colony came into view. The steel buildings rose up out of the red dust like a small city on a dead world. Sensor towers reached toward the pale sky. Power lines connected everything together. It was not beautiful, but it was home to Minsu. Kara felt Minsu's shoulders tense up. "What is wrong?" she asked. "When we get to the colony, there will be questions," Minsu said. "There will be a commander named Park Ji-won. She is a military officer. She will see you as a threat. She will want to lock you up. She will want to send reports back to Earth. Everything will change after this." "Then leave me here," Kara said. "Leave me and continue alone. That is better." "No," Minsu said. "I will not do that." They walked through the main gate of the colony. Immediately, alarms began to sound. Red lights flashed. Soldiers in armor came running from every direction. Minsu stopped walking and raised his free hand to show he was not a threat. Commander Park Ji-won appeared from one of the buildings. She was a tall woman with short black hair and eyes that had seen too much violence. She had a gun in her hand, and more guns were held by the soldiers standing behind her. "What is that?" Park Ji-won asked, pointing at Kara. "She is a patient," Minsu said. "She is injured. I am taking her to the medical bay." "That is an unknown alien creature," Park Ji-won said. "It could be dangerous. It could be a spy. You will stand down right now, Engineer Minsu. That is a direct order." Minsu took a step forward. Guns came up. Fingers tightened on triggers. "This is a sentient being in pain," Minsu said. His voice was calm and clear. "The medical bay is under my authority as the senior engineer. Any injured person, any injured creature can use that facility. Medical emergency comes before military security. That is the law of every human colony. You know this." Park Ji-won's jaw became tight. She wanted to give the order to shoot. Minsu could see it in her face. But he was right about the law. The medical bay was neutral ground. Medical emergencies were sacred in space colonies. Everyone here knew that. Everyone here understood that in space, anyone could be injured. Anyone could need help. The rules about the medical bay kept everyone safe. Park Ji-won slowly lowered her gun. "1 hour," she said coldly. "That is all you get, Minsu. In 1 hour, I am making my report to Earth Command. After that, this creature will be detained by military authority. You understand me?" "Yes, ma'am," Minsu said. "Thank you, ma'am." He walked through the gate with Kara still on his back. The soldiers watched him with angry eyes. The alarms continued to flash, but nobody tried to stop him. The medical bay was clean and empty and quiet. Minsu carefully helped Kara off his back and onto an examination table. Then he removed his suit piece by piece until he was just a human in regular clothes. Kara watched him with tired eyes. "You gave up something," Kara said. "When you helped me, you gave up safety. You gave up following orders. You gave up your future with your people." "Maybe," Minsu said. He was already pulling medical supplies from the storage closet. "Or maybe I found something more important than those things." "What did you find?" Kara asked. Minsu looked at her. He looked at her broken tail and her torn wings and her large dark eyes that seemed to hold all the loneliness of her entire world. "A reason to remember why being human means anything at all," he said. Outside the medical bay, through the window, Minsu could see Commander Park Ji-won talking on a secure communication device. Her face was serious. Her words were quiet, but Minsu knew what she was saying. She was reporting everything to Earth Command. She was reporting that an unknown alien had crashed on the colony. She was reporting that Minsu had helped her. Minsu knew that in 1 hour, his life as he knew it would change forever. But as he looked at Kara, as he saw the hope beginning to appear in her dark eyes, he found that he did not care. Some choices were bigger than consequences. Some choices were about being more than just human. Some choices were about being human in the way it was meant to be. And Min-Su had made his choice. There was no going back now. Min-Su worked through the night without sleeping. His hands moved carefully and with purpose. He had studied first aid and emergency medicine, as all colony workers had to do. But studying something and actually doing it were two very different things. This was not a human body. This was something completely new. One wrong move could make K-Ra's injury worse instead of better. First, he cleaned the wound at the base of her tail. The clear, blood-like fluid came away easily. Under the damaged scales, the tissue was bruised and swollen. Min-Su used a gentle solution to wash everything clean. He worked slowly, talking to K-Ra the whole time, explaining what he was doing and why. The tail has many nerves running through it, Min-Su said as he worked. For creatures like you, the tail is probably as important as hands are for humans. You use it for balance. You use it for movement. You might even use it for communication. Yes, K-Ra said quietly. On Drakesh, a warrior's tail is everything. We speak with our tails as much as we speak with our voices. Without a functioning tail, a Dragonoid is incomplete. But you are not incomplete, Min-Su said. You are just injured. Those are different things. Using his suit's diagnostic computer, Min-Su created a full map of K-Ra's tail. The neural connections were damaged badly, but they were not completely destroyed. The vertebrae were fractured and would need time to heal. But the bones were aligned in a way that suggested healing was possible. Maybe not full recovery, but some recovery. Some movement, some chance. Your physiology is remarkable, Min-Su said, not looking up from his work. We are made of the same basic building blocks. Calcium-based skeleton, organized nervous system, similar muscle structure, different DNA, different evolutionary path, but similar enough that I can understand what I am looking at. Does that mean I can heal? K-Ra asked. The hope in her voice was very fragile, like glass that could break if touched too hard. Min-Su looked at her directly. He had learned that honesty was more important than comfort. I think you can heal, he said. Maybe 60% chance of full recovery. Maybe 80% chance of partial recovery. Your body is strong. Your will to survive is strong. That helps a lot. What if I do not recover? K-Ra asked. Then you will learn to live differently, Min-Su said. Humans do it all the time. My grandfather lost his leg in an accident. Now he walks with a metal leg. He is less mobile than he was before, but he is still alive. He is still complete as a person. Injury does not make you less. It just makes you different. Min-Su applied medical bandages and nerve stimulators to K-Ra's tail. The stimulators were designed for human physiology, but they seemed to work on the Dragonoid's nervous system as well. They would help the damaged nerves heal faster. They would help the signals travel from her brain to her tail again. After several hours of work, Min-Su sat down in a chair near K-Ra's medical bed. He was very tired. His eyes felt heavy, but he was not ready to sleep yet. Can I ask you something? K-Ra said. Yes, Min-Su replied. Why do you do this? For me, I mean. I am not your kind. I am not even from your world. I am a stranger. On Drakesh, strangers are not helped. Strangers are competition. Why do you help me? Min-Su thought about the question for a long time. He thought about why he had come to Kepler 442b. He thought about the thing on Earth that he had wanted to forget. He thought about how years of loneliness and work had slowly made him realize what was important in life. On Drakesh, a society survives by being strong, Min-Su said. On Earth, we have learned that a society survives by being kind, not weak. Kindness is not the same as weakness. A person can be strong and kind at the same time. A society can be powerful and still take care of people who are injured or suffering. That seems wasteful, Kara said. Resources are limited. Why give them to someone who cannot give back? Because they might give back later, Min-Su said. Because helping them makes us better people. Because if we do not help people when they are down, we are telling ourselves that we do not deserve help when we fall down. And everyone falls down eventually, Kara. Everyone needs help sometimes. That is what makes us not alone. Kara was quiet for a long time. In that quiet, Min-Su could see something changing in her eyes, something shifting in the way she looked at him. It was as if a door was opening in her mind, a door that showed her a different way of thinking about the world. Where I come from, Kara said slowly, a warrior who cannot move is left behind. It is called mercy. We say it is better to die than to live without function. But your people think differently. Your people think that living is important, that existing is important, that being alive with an injury is better than being dead. Yes, Min-Su said. That is what we think. I think I understand now, Kara said. Your kindness is not weakness. It is a different kind of strength. It is the strength to believe that someone has value even when they cannot fight, even when they cannot work. It is the strength to see the person inside the body. Min-Su smiled. It was a small smile, but it was real. Now you are learning what it means to be human, Min-Su said. Even though you are not human, even though you come from a different world, you are learning the most important thing. What is that? Kara asked. That being alive is always better than being dead, Min-Su said, and that every life matters, every single one. No matter who has that life, no matter where they come from, no matter what they can do, they matter. Outside the medical bay, the colony continued its normal work. The machines hummed, the power systems ran. People walked through the corridors and did their jobs. But inside the medical bay, something important was happening. An alien from another world was learning what compassion meant, and a human was remembering why compassion was the thing that made him human at all. Commander Park Ji-won's report reached Earth Command within 6 hours. The response came back within 2 days. The message was clear and official and final. The alien would be detained immediately. All of her technology would be secured. All information would be documented. The colony would prepare for possible hostile contact from her civilization. A military ship arrived 3 days later. It came down from the sky like a metal bird, dust rising all around it as it landed. Soldiers in heavy armor poured out of the cargo bay. They were not miners or engineers. They were trained combat troops from the Earth Defense Force. They carried weapons that could destroy buildings. The captain who led them was a man named Hae-il. He was tall and broad-shouldered and had the kind of face that had seen too much fighting. His eyes were hard. His mouth never smiled. He walked through the colony like he owned it, and everyone got out of his way. Hae-il walked directly to the medical bay. Min-Su was there, as always. He had barely left Kara's side in 3 days. She was showing improvement. The nerve stimulators were working. Her tail had twitched twice. Her eyes were brighter. She was healing. Captain Hae-il stood in the doorway with 3 soldiers behind him. All of them had guns. "Stand away from the creature," Hae-il commanded. "She has a name," Min-Su said. He did not stand away. "Her name is Kara." "I do not care about her name," Hae-il said. "I care about Earth security. Stand away from the creature, engineer. That is a direct order from Earth Defense Force Command." Min-Su slowly stood up. He positioned himself between Kara and the soldiers. "I cannot do that, Captain," Min-Su said. "She is my patient. She is recovering from serious injury. If you move her now, you could damage the healing process." "A prisoner can be treated in a secure facility," Hae-il said. "Medical care can be provided under military guard." "By who?" Min-Su asked. The nearest medical facility with advanced equipment is 6 months away by transport ship. These conditions are the best available. Moving her would be cruel and dangerous. Hay-Ill's face became even harder. He was not used to being argued with by civilians, but he was also a trained military officer and he understood the rules. The rules about medical facilities and medical emergencies. Those rules existed to protect everyone. I see, Hay-Ill said slowly. So you are refusing to cooperate with military authority. I am following the law, Min-Su said. Medical emergency comes first. Military authority comes second. Engineer, you are thinking emotionally. This is a strategic situation. This is a first contact scenario. The Drakesh Collective is unknown to Earth. Their capabilities are unknown. Their intentions are unknown. Until we understand them, we cannot afford to show weakness. We cannot afford to demonstrate that we will treat their representatives with comfort and safety. Min-Su felt anger rising in his chest. This was the thing he hated most about military thinking. The way it turned people into objects. The way it turned pain into strategy. She is not a representative, Min-Su said. She is an individual. She is a scout who crashed on this planet. She is alone. She is injured. That is all. That is what she tells you, Hay-Ill replied. That is the truth, Kara said from the medical bed. Her voice was weak but clear. Captain, I was exiled from Drakesh by internal conflict. Politics and ideology separated me from my civilization. I sought neutral territory. I sought peace. I was not here on a military mission. The collective does not know I survived the crash. They believe my ship was destroyed and I died in the impact. Hay-Ill looked at Kara for a long time. His mind was working, calculating, thinking about what this information meant for Earth security. If that is true, Hay-Ill said slowly, then you are actually more valuable to us than a military representative would be. You are intelligence. You have knowledge about the Drakesh Collective. You have knowledge about their capabilities and their weaknesses. I will tell you nothing, Kara said. I will not be interrogated. I will not be used as a tool. You will be interrogated, Hay-Ill said, because that is how military intelligence works. But I acknowledge that Engineer Min-Su is correct about one thing. Moving you now could damage your healing, so I will allow him to continue medical treatment. But you will remain under armed guard at all times. And Engineer Min-Su, you will report all information about her recovery directly to me. I cannot do that, Min-Su said. Patient confidentiality is protected under medical law. Not for aliens, Hay-Ill said. There are no rules about aliens yet. We are writing the rules as we go. So you can cooperate, or you can be arrested for obstruction of military authority. Min-Su wanted to argue more. He wanted to fight. But he could see in Hay-Ill's eyes that the captain would do what he said. The military would take over. The kindness would be replaced by interrogation. Kara would be hurt in different ways now. Not physically, but in ways that were just as damaging. I will cooperate, Min-Su said quietly. Over the next 2 weeks, things changed in the colony. Soldiers guarded the medical bay constantly. Hay-Ill came to question Kara every day. The questions were always about Drakesh. How many ships did they have? What kind of weapons? What were their military strategies? Were there conflicts within the civilization? Were there factions that opposed the government? At first, Kara refused to answer, but after many hours of questioning, she began to talk. Min-Su watched this happen with sadness. The captain was not cruel exactly. He was just doing his job. But his job was slowly turning Kara from a patient into a prisoner. Her progress slowed. She moved less. She spoke less. Her dark eyes became hollow. One evening, Min-Su found her staring out the medical bay window at the dust and rocks outside. They are going to use me, Kara said without preamble. I am not a patient anymore. I am a source of information. Captain Hay-Ill is preparing a detailed message for Earth Command. They will respond with interest. They will want more information. I will be kept here or transported somewhere. And I will be interrogated until I have given them everything I know. I will become a prisoner permanently. You could escape, Min-Su said, though he did not know if this was true. Your tail is healing well. You could fly. To where? Kara asked. My ship is destroyed. Your people would hunt me. The collective would hunt me if they learned I survived. I am trapped, Min-Su, not by injury anymore, by choice, by circumstance, by the realities of politics that neither of us can control. Min-Su had no answer to this, because Kara was right. She was trapped, and he had helped put her there by bringing her to the colony in the first place. Min-Su made his decision on a quiet night when no one was watching. He accessed the colony's computer systems using his senior engineer security code. The code was supposed to be used only for maintenance and power systems. Using it for anything else was a crime. Min-Su did not care. He was going to commit a crime anyway. He found the data files about Kara's ship. The ship sat in a storage facility on the far side of the colony, hidden from view by large metal containers. Captain Hay-Il had ordered it secured and catalogued, but he had not destroyed it. Hay-Il thought the ship might be valuable technology to study. Min-Su began to work. His fingers moved across the keyboard. He looked at the ship's technical specifications. The power systems were damaged but repairable. The navigation computer was intact. The hull had holes in it, but they could be sealed. The ship could fly again. Min-Su pulled up the parts inventory for the colony. He knew this inventory very well. It was his job to maintain it. He knew what was available. He knew what could be borrowed for repairs. He knew what could be removed without anyone noticing. Over 4 nights, Min-Su visited the ship. He brought repair parts in small containers. He brought power supplies. He brought fuel cells. He worked in the darkness, knowing that if anyone caught him, his life was over. But his life was going to be over anyway, so it did not matter. He fixed the navigation systems. He updated the ship's computer with new course coordinates. He made sure the ship could jump to hyperspace and reach neutral systems beyond Earth military control. He even added extra fuel capacity by removing non-essential equipment and replacing it with fuel storage. Most importantly, he erased the data trails. He removed all the logs that would show anyone where the ship had gone. He hid the tracking information. He made sure that if the ship left, no one could follow it. On the 5th night, the work was complete. The ship was ready to fly. Min-Su went to the medical bay. Captain Hay-Il was not there. The guards had changed shifts. For 10 minutes, there would be minimal supervision. It is time, Min-Su said to Kara. Kara understood immediately. She did not ask questions. She got up from the medical bed. Her tail was still injured, but it could move now. It moved slowly and painfully, but it could move. She was stronger than she had been. Weeks of healing had helped. I cannot ask you to do this, Kara said. You are not asking, Min-Su replied. I am doing it. There is a difference. They moved through the colony quickly and quietly. The facility was large enough that they could avoid the main corridors. Min-Su knew the back passages. He knew where the cameras were. He knew how to move without being seen. When they reached the ship, the reality of what was happening became clear. This was real. This was actually happening. My people will hunt you, Kara said. Earth will hunt you. You will be alone. I know, Min-Su said. He had made peace with this. He had made peace with the fact that his life on the colony was over. His career was over. His future was over. But something more important had taken its place. You have given up everything, Kara said. No, Min-Su said. I have given up nothing. I have gained everything. I have remembered why being human means anything at all. The ship's engines came to life. They hummed and buzzed with barely controlled power. Kara moved to the pilot seat. Her tail curled around the armrest. and Minsu saw her smile for the first time. A real smile. Not a smile of politeness, but a smile of genuine joy. "Will you come with me?" she asked. "I cannot," Minsu said. "I must stay. But I will make sure they do not chase you. I will delay them. I will give you time to reach the jump point." "Why would you do that?" Kei-Ra asked. "Because you matter," Minsu said. "Because every life matters. Because I want you to be free." The ship lifted off the ground. Red dust swirled around it. It rose into the pale sky and accelerated away from the colony. Within minutes, it was gone. Minsu watched it disappear. Then he turned around and walked back into the colony. He knew that soldiers would be looking for him soon. He knew that Captain Hai-Il would be angry. He knew that there would be arrests and trials and punishment. But Minsu did not run. He did not hide. When Hai-Il found him, Minsu was sitting in the command center, waiting. "You helped her escape," Hai-Il said. It was not a question. "Yes," Minsu said. "That is treason," Hai-Il said. "That is betrayal of Earth authority. You have compromised colonial security. You have given away alien technology. You have enabled an unknown species to return to its civilization with information about us." "Yes," Minsu said. "I have done all of those things." "Why?" Hai-Il demanded. "What possible reason could you have for doing this?" Minsu looked up at the captain. He looked at the soldier's angry face and the gun at his side and the authority in his voice. "Because she is a person," Minsu said simply. "Not a tool, not a piece of intelligence to be used. A person, a being with dignity and rights and the freedom to choose her own future. Because sometimes following the rules means betraying what is right. Because I would rather be judged by humans than by my own conscience." Captain Hai-Il stood there for a long time without moving. Then he called the guards. The trial took 6 months. The court-martial was official and thorough. Minsu was stripped of his rank. His security clearance was revoked. His career was ended. He was sent to the lowest-level maintenance work at a different colony, a place where the company would keep him but never trust him again. But on the night before he left Kepler 442b, a message came through on an encrypted frequency that should not have been accessible. It came from a location that the tracking systems could not find. "Engineer Minsu, this is Kei-Ra. I have reached neutral space. I am safe. I have also begun transmission of detailed intelligence about Drakesh political factions to the Earth authorities, filtered through intermediaries. Information that shows that the collective is fractured. Information that shows that peaceful contact is possible. The information you gave me, your trust, your compassion, it showed me there was another way. Not the way of the collective, not the way of your military, but a third path. The path of individual choice and connection that transcends species boundaries. I am establishing a neutral research station. A place where humans and Dragonoids and other species can gather. To understand each other, to learn from each other, to prove that efficiency is not the only measure of a civilization. Thank you, Minsu. You readjusted more than your armor that day. You readjusted my entire understanding of what was possible." The message ended. Minsu sat in the darkness, watching the stars above Kepler 442b. For the first time since his trial began, he smiled. The system had judged him. The military had declared him guilty. Earth Command had called him a traitor. But he knew the truth that no court could change. Sometimes being human meant choosing compassion over compliance. Sometimes it meant sacrificing everything for someone else's freedom. Sometimes it meant that the most revolutionary act in the entire universe was simply to care for a stranger in pain and to act on that care, no matter the cost. And in a universe of endless stars and countless worlds, that was enough.